couldn't make it, that are planning on calling in, so when they do, I can see their number, but I need to activate it so we can hear them, so I need them to type in who they are, so I can introduce them. Okay, our next guest is a veteran and author. It's a pleasure to bring up here Del Staecker. Welcome, Del. Let's give him a hand. Thank you, sir. Another one of these military people I have to look up to. Well, I look up to all of them. But he happens to be a lot taller than me. Those of you watching the video can see it. Okay, Del, why don't you share a little bit about yourself, go back a little bit on your military career, and then talk about the book.
Okay, I'm an Army veteran. I attended the Citadel. I'm a graduate for class of 72. And before we do anything else, I just want to give a shout out to all my fellow alums from the Citadel that are still serving, particularly overseas. I'll be on the campus next week, guys, and I'll say a good prayer for you at the chapel. I served in the Army active duty for 4 years, paid back my education time, and I became a professional fundraiser. And about 5 years ago, I decided to become a full-time writer, and I'm a novelist. And this is the book that my wife convinced me to write. It's called The Lady Gangster. It's the true story of the most amazing ship of World War II. And I like to describe it, it's like the Russian dolls within dolls. It's stories within stories within stories. And basically it's the story of how a teenage boy, it was me at the time in 1967, was stuck on a car ride with my father. And I didn't want to talk to him, so I just said, well, tell me what you did in the war. And he mesmerized me for about 1,000 miles of driving. And I didn't know anything about his war service until then, and I was exposed to this wonderful story. And he told me one time, maybe somebody will write the story. Turned out later on in life I did. A year before the war started, 327 young sailors in the reserves were activated, and they were all from Chicago. And so their ship naturally became known as the Gangster. And these young men all talked the same, acted the same, they all had the same mind frame, and they were on what my father said the Navy made it an experimental ship. It was one of the first attack transports. And this particular ship, the Lady Gangster, they received the very first Higgins boats. My father told me that he had #1 Higgins boat in the whole Navy. And later on, they delivered the first troops, the Marines, to Iceland. They brought refugees out of England. They dodged U-boats, and that was all in the beginning of the war. And then they went to the Pacific. They landed the first troops on Guadalcanal, and they were involved in 9 invasions in the South Pacific. They were torpedoed, they were bombed, they delivered troops, the 1st Marine Division, everywhere they went. And this ship was known through the Pacific as the Queen of Attack Transports. And one of the great parts about this is I have, this is a combination of history, oral history, newspaper articles, I've got ship's logs, all kinds of things. But one of the things that's really interesting is later on, after my father shared this story to me, I located an account from a combat Marine correspondent that talked about the Queen of Attack Transports and how, when applied through the South Pacific, the Army Air Corps, when they fly over it, they would tip their wings in honor to the ship, because it was known throughout the Navy as the most important deliverer of the Marines to all these shores. My father served on it for 5 years. He's one of the plank owners. He came home. He was a true World War II silent veteran, never told me anything until I was a teenager and I found out this wonderful story. So I'm really pleased that I could share it with people. And it's won a couple of awards, and it's in the 2nd printing, and I'm just really pleased to be part of this story.
First of all, for your service, your dad's service, your family, thank you.
Thank you.
And you have a website where people can find the book?
Yeah, you can do a couple of places. delstaecker.com, and that's DELSTAECKER.com, or Cable Publishing is my publisher, cablepublishing.com. And they are offering it special rates and free shipping and all that. One thing I do want to mention that's been really great about this is the crew members that are still alive. Several of them helped come up with some documents and pictures and other things that really made this a special book. And just recently, one of the widows of the crew members bought 22 copies. I think that was really a testament for the book. But even more so, one of the Marines that was delivered to Saipan read the book, and 10 pages in, he stopped, called the publisher, and was sobbing over the phone and said it was the best story about Pacific service. And it's a real testament because it came from the guys that were there. And just again, to the guys who are out there right now, God bless you.
Thank you, Del Staecker. Thank you.